Other required sections in that present level of academic achievement and functional performance include a summary of the results of the child's performance on general, state, and district-wide assessments. So for the state of Missouri, that would be MAP testing results, and that stands for Missouri Assessment Program, and that's the statewide testing that they do. It's the report where you get how your child is performing either at the basic level, below basic, proficient, and advanced, or if your child is on an alternative assessment, though that information would be included also. And those are aligned with your child's IEP goals if they're on the alternative assessment. And then any standardized assessments that the district does. And again, that's part of that information just to kind of help you collect information from all sources in order to determine programming. And then if your child is on that alternative assessment, benchmarks or short-term objectives on their IEP goals are either listed in the present level or on the goal pages themselves. The districts that we work in here in St. Charles County include those benchmarks and objectives on IEP goals. This is an example of just that first section of the present level of academic achievement and functional performance. So this is an example of how the child's disability affects his progress in the general education curriculum. And if you read through that, it talks about academically how John has difficulty with turning in assignments and problems with task focus and not writing down homework assignments. It also talks about his impulsivity and sensory and what that looks like in the classroom. It describes the impact of all of those symptoms in the educational setting or on his academic achievement. So the impact is often lower grades due to missing or incomplete assignments, disruption of his own task focus, and disruption for teachers, self-frustration, and further alienation of his peers. This is still the same section of how the disability affects his or her performance in the general education curriculum. But now we're looking at it functionally. So now we're kind of looking at how it affects him in the school environment, not just for his academics. So he struggles with social skills. Even when it appears that he has learned a particular social rule, he has great difficulty generalizing that rule to other situations or environments. And it goes on to describe more about those specifics and what is seen in that environment. And then again, it talks about the impact. And the impact for John in this situation is that he's typically not assigned to small groups. And in one case, he received an out-of-school suspension. And it affects his ability to interact and socialize appropriately with his same-aged peers. So you really want this section to be specific and describe what is seen, not just academically, but also socially and functionally in the educational setting, and what that impact is. Okay, so what does all of that mean when we're looking at the present levels? What you want to do when looking at the present level alone is, could your IEP team develop an appropriate IEP with the appropriate goals, supplementary aids and services, accommodations, modifications, behavior support plan, whatever is necessary? In other words, would it pass the stranger test?